Welcome back. You are chatting with John P. Today we are going to be talking about Tudor watches. I have been asked recently a few times this question about what I think is going to happen with Tudor watches. I've been asked about this on my Instagram, The Real John P, as well as at delraywatch.com, where we buy, sell, trade watches, including many Tudor watches. The last year, or last 12 months rather, Tudor has been one of our top 5 brands for the amount of units that we've traded. So we handle a lot of Tudor. Our ears are to the ground, I guess you would say. Is that a saying? I don't know. My ears are open. We've been listening to Tudor collectors, what's going on with Tudor, and we see a lot of Tudor trading happening. And I think there's some valuable insights to be had here about where Tudor may go considering what's going on in the market. If you've been away from watch collecting for a while, Rolex prices have been going down and the demand is not quite there. A lot of the other brands are still very safe, but some hot Rolex models as well as Patek Philippe models have pulled back, and Rolex seems to be in a very questionable state in the secondary market if we're talking pricing in terms of several times the retail. But Tudor does play a role in the whole ecosystem of luxury watches, including Rolex, right? Tudor does make alternatives for the most part to Rolex watches. They're within the same family of brands, and they do offer many of the same things. There's many people that even have called Tudor as almost a test ground for Rolex watches, and now vice versa. When you see something like the left-handed Rolex watches, or Rolex watch rather, that has come out, that is something that Tudor came out with the Pelagos. So there's a lot of evidence to support those types of claims, but nonetheless, Tudor is in that wheelhouse and they sell similar watches, and some of these watches have been very hot and desirable. Think of when the Black Bay GMT Pepsi bezel came out. Think of when the Black Bay 58, the black one, as well as the blue one. Think of even the Pelagos for that matter, but there have been, and let's talk about the Black Bay 58 in silver. There have been a lot of hot watches that even have had some wait lists over time. But do I think the prices of Tudor are going to collapse, or do I think they're going to remain stable? Here's exactly how I see it. So I was recently an authorized dealer that sells a bunch of different brands, and this was in the last 2 days, they did have every Tudor model in stock, including the ones that just came out. Now, a year ago, that would have been blasphemy. No one would have believed it. When I did a video in the past about sharing how the Black Bay 58 in blue was in stock, I received so many questions and comments and emails and even phone calls of people that just wanted to contest that because of wherever they were in their specific city with their small authorized dealer that received one of them or two of them because they have a low order volume. They just contested it and said, there's no way, it's sold out everywhere because this one AD doesn't have it. But when you start getting into these big ADs that are worldwide in many cases, they just have so much better ordering power, and they just get the hot pieces because they're on the most favorable terms with the brands, and they also tend to have the most consistent and favorable treatment for the customers. That's disputable, I guess, but that's generally how the brands are looking at it. And so when you walk in there and they have all the Tudor watches from the current collection in the showcase, I think that's very showing of the times for the brand. And this is a claim that I've made, and I've made this argument in the past where Tudor intends to be the watch where you actually can you walk in the store and buy it as an alternative to the Rolex watch that is still not in the stores. Even though the secondhand prices have come down in terms of where they were and where they are today, you still can't walk into an authorized dealer and buy the hot Rolex sports model that you want. So you have to buy something from the authorized dealer, and they provide you with alternatives from other brands, including Tudor, which has watches that are somewhat similar, right? The Pepsi bezel, the dives, the root beer, they offer something in that wheelhouse, and maybe it tides you over, maybe it's an alternative. That's up for you to decide as a consumer, but they offer that, and it works because they have to sell something to keep the doors open and keep the staff showing up. They have to sell something to make commission, right? It's just how authorized dealers and businesses work. You have to sell things. So Tudor watches, in terms of them being desirable, I haven't seen anything change. People still really like Tudor watches. Collectors love them. Tudor's still managing to kind of scratch the itch for collectors and give them cool tool watches with little variants and something unique and interesting to try out, including smaller form factors of some of the hot watches that they've produced in the past. So the demand doesn't seem to have tapered. Now, in terms of the pricing, we could see a little bit of a pullback. I haven't seen that just as of yet, because Tudors tend to be a watch that is not really speculated with when compared to something like a Patek Philippe or a Rolex. Much higher tickets on these, much higher price points, more speculation, more holding, more hoarding. Tudors are truly worn every day. People love to wear the Tudors. Not a lot of them sit around, so you don't see kind of the stockpiling and the dumping and all of that that does happen with some other brands, or at least has been happening in recent times. And so in terms of the pricing pullback, I don't really see that right now. I think gone are the times currently of having to wait in line for a Tudor watch or having to pay over retail like many people were doing when some of these Tudor watches came out, like the GMT, like the sterling silver Black Bay. But you can walk into a store, you can buy one, and maybe, dare I say, you can even get a discount. I think you should try. I would love to see and hear in the comments below if you've done this, but I think now may be actually a really great time to buy a Tudor watch at retail or from an authorized retailer and get a discount maybe, right? Things are a little bit slow. The Rolex market, the watch market right now, especially at new, there's some uncertainty there as well. The salespeople may be so inclined to want to make a sale, and the models appear to be in the door. So I think if you were on the fence about a Tudor watch and you wanted a new one, you wanted to pay retail or under retail, I think now would be the perfect time to walk into your authorized dealer. Try to go for an authorized dealer that does have big purchasing power. You know who they are. Think of the big ones that are in multiple cities. Walk in there, see if they have it, and make them an offer, credit card in hand or offer to wire, or whatever payment methods they accept. I think now would be the perfect time to do that, just because of the market conditions, as well as there happens to be stock, because I walked in and I saw it, and I think now is the time for Tudor guys on the fence. But what do you guys think about Tudor now and into the future? I would love to see it and hear it in the comments below. Please do not forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. You can find me on Instagram, TheRealJohnP, as well as do not forget to check out DelReyWatch.com, where I don't think we have very many Tudor watches, but we might. But certainly you can find out at DelReyWatch.com. Thanks, guys. You've been chatting with John P.